Good evening, ladies, as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. Man, it's been, kind of nice to be on vacation with my girlfriend and then home for my grandma's funeral. Obviously the funeral part and the my grandma is dead part are kind of sad. But, it's been good to see my family and friends. But, man, I really miss making videos. I'm pretty much dying to get back to it. So, basically, I'll be driving home tomorrow, and then on Tuesday is my normal vacation day with my girlfriend. But Wednesday, holy shit, Wednesday, prepare your subscriber feed for a glut of Papa Boris videos. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're going to continue this arena. Turns out that the doorbell was going off the hook because my cousin and my dad, I kid you not, were testing it out. Yes, they were just testing it out. They didn't need to get in. They had the keys. Nobody was locked out. They were just testing out the doorbell. And that is why I turned off my last video. But anyway, we are back now to finish this a couple days later. Don't even remember what's in the deck or anything like that, but I remember it being a pretty decent one. I remember losing to a Warlock in a stupid fashion and winning all my other games. And alright, this is actually pretty cool. So the Rogue might actually make a dagger here and try to dagger down the Argent Squire. Then I would have played the Ooze and killed her dagger. She played the Loot Hoarder instead. Okay. So, what do you do here? Well, you could play the Ooze, but that's stupid for a couple of reasons. Number one, it dies to one of these 2-drops. Number two, I really would like to get a dagger killed out of it. I could make a Recruit, which will die to the dagger. But the dagger's already going to have a target, which is the Squire after the Divine Shield pops. So, coining into the Harvest Golem, I'm not really sure is worth it. I'd rather play the Golem on turn 3 and coin into a Fen Creeper on turn 4. So, we're going to go ahead and make the Recruit. I'll kill the Infiltrator rather than the Loot Hoarder so that, my opponent is delayed in the acquisition of this card, which might be relevant. If the card she'd gotten off the Loot Hoarder were very good in the situation, like Fan of Knives, she might not get it this way. Mad Bomber, another risky bomber. And, okay, it could have been worse, so it killed my thing and not her thing, but at the very least, it did not kill both of my things. That just would have been the worst thing. So, okay, we'll keep it simple, keep it safe. Let's just play the Golem. Kill the Loot Hoarder before the Squire dies to the dagger. Now the Golem is ready to kill the Mad Bomber, and my opponent does not have a dagger already in hand for the killing of the damaged Golem with good syntax. Boris, good syntax. And I'm planning to coin into a Fen Creeper next turn unless something weird comes out. Okay, so she's still not making her dagger, which is just fine by me. She's getting some damage through. Razorfen Hunter, not bad, but I really want to get this Fen Creeper out into play. So if she has an Assassinate, that would be unfortunate. But as long as she doesn't have that one particular card, this is a very, very strong drop. Stops any more damage from coming through, and lets me kill off this Golem easily. Prevents my damage Golem from dying to her dagger. There's just all kinds of good stuff here. Alright, she indeed does not have the Assassinate. She, however, does have an Eviscerate, which with the combination of the Harvest Golem will allow her to bring down my Fen Creeper in a relatively simple fashion. Alright, Dark Iron Dwarf is actually comically useless right now. I could, of course, Peacekeep the Crusader, which is a move that has been used against me earlier in this arena. Or I could just make the Razorfen Hunter and a Reinforcement and just try to clog the board. We'll do that. Do I know this is the correct move? I do not, but it's the move I will make. So basically, the Hunter and the Pig trade with the Scarlet Crusader. And then that also leaves me with a Recruit that I can Dark Iron Dwarf and maybe deal some damage. Potentially, if she makes anything big here, the Peacekeeper will be brought out to dispense some glorious justice. This guy. Well, she's going for broke here, which is an interesting choice. I'm not sure that that's the correct move, but I don't really have the right cards to punish her with. If I had a Consecration, I could use my ones to ping off the Divine Shields, and Consecration would kill her board, but I don't have a Consecration. Again, I could Hammer of Wrath off a Divine Shield. Well, no, I could use the guy off a Divine Shield and then Hammer of Wrath to finish it off and then throw everything else at that. And basically trade off the board. Doesn't really seem worth it. Fen Creeper is risky because if she silences it, she's going to get me down below 10 health. Granted, she didn't have an answer for the Fen Creeper before. Okay, we're going to play the Fen Creeper number 2. Throwing the Pig and the Hunter at the Crusader is just as good as throwing the Pig and the Hunter against the 4-2. Question is, do I pop this Divine Shield? The answer is yes, I do. So, what's the situation? 16 health is pretty decent. She's got 5 cards to my 6, and I have some card advantage here with Hammer of Wrath. I'm ready to kill one of her daggers, or at this point, maybe an Assassin's Blade with my Ooze. She does have the silence, so it's a good thing I killed some stuff, but the 3/6 body is still here, and she is going all the way for broke. She is going all the way for broke. Is she really going to get away with this? Well, we'll see. So I really do need now to clear her board every turn if I can. And I shall do so. Noble Sacrifice actually wouldn't be bad to stop some damage, although she can always get rid of it with a dagger. So I'm at 9 health, no taunts. I do have 1 healing card in here, 2 if you count True Silver Champion. And yeah, she's just trying to race me out. So there's the Panther that's going to get 4 damage through unless I can get a Consecration. Not a chance. Not even close. Wow. All these cards and not a taunter to be seen. So unfortunately, this is actually really bad. My opponent is just burning me out because I could not get a taunt and because she has this very nice stealth creature, which is sort of like a pseudo-charge creature. Interesting choice by the opponent to go for broke. I mean, we could say that that was a mistake that happened to work out well, but then again, because I did have the card advantage, she played to her outs, which was being able to burn me out, and that ended up being the correct choice. Unless I can find, I don't even know what else I have in here. I've got 2 Fen Creepers, I think a Panda to bring this back into my hand and replay it. Is my main hope at this stage. Oh, Jesus Christ. She's actually gonna... Deserves a well played. I really needed Consecration this game is what I needed. Interesting choice of the Scarlet Crusader. I would have played the Panther so that it would get 4 more damage through, and I cannot get a taunting or anything to save my life. In fact, there is just nothing for me to do here. All these creatures are completely immaterial. I will play the Peacekeeper since I can't kill it. I might as well diminish its effects. I'll play the creature just for the hell of it, I guess, but... yeah, I'm not going to be able to get enough damage done to her in time before she kills me, I don't think. She still has that Panther. I still need a Consecration. It's, of course, in the second half of my deck, because of course it is. This is kind of another dumb game where I really don't think that the opponent should have gotten away with this. If I had had a reasonable amount of taunt in my deck, I could have pretty easily just stopped all this. But she did, to her credit, get past 2 Fen Creepers. And I did, to my discredit, not get any Consecration. Man, I could actually still win this game if I would just get a Consecration. And I got True Silver Champion. Well, that's not going to do it, unfortunately, because this will heal me up, but I can't kill her board, or can I? Let's see, I hit her in the... no, this Panther is just doing me. Well, without thinking about it too hard, let's throw everything at the face just to see how far we could have come. And the answer is to 1 of killing her. Good God. Well, I probably messed up somewhere. And... could have maybe gone for the face a little bit more, or drafted a little bit differently, or something. Ah, that game was stupid. Yes, I think that she had a low probability of winning, given that she chose to not trade creatures and instead go for my face. But it worked out because I did pass on several taunt creatures during the draft, and had I gotten even 1 more taunter out, I could have perhaps been able to stave things off enough to actually win. Idiocy. Well, folks, that's why you need to have taunt. For situations like that, where the opponent gets off to a quick start, ignores your creatures, and then continues getting damage through with things like Eviscerates and Stealth and whatnot. Well, here we are up against a Druid. Din for the win. Oh, what is Din? Is that some famous League of Legends player? No, I'm thinking of Dan or something. I don't know what Din is. Shame on me. Alright. So we have all of our 2 drops here. Of course, these are not really 2 drops, but the Novice Engineer is. This level of 2 drops is probably not worth using a coin on, unless of course he gets off to a fast start. Let's say he plays a 2-1, I would probably coin into a Geomancer to try to trade it. Obviously using a Novice Engineer to try to kill a 2-1 wouldn't be very fruitful because the Shapeshift could just kill it off. He just mulliganed the left card, he kept the other 2, so he liked his starting hand. You don't want to read too much into that, of course. I mean, I kept most of my hand, and it's not that fantastic. It's just cheap. Down goes the bucket. Well, I imagine he's going to play something here, otherwise, why did he not mulligan more of his cards? No, he just has a Shapeshift. Fascinating. Fascinating. So I'm going to play the Novice Engineer here, and the reason for that is the Geomancer I'd like to save for another time, if I can get it with a Hammer of Wrath or a Consecration, And I don't think he's going to shapeshift this turn to kill this thing off. I mean, he kept 2 of his opening cards. Would he really be shapeshifting on turn 3? If so, that is its own sort of victory. And he is shapeshifting on turn 3, so quite the slow start for this druid. He kept a bunch of his opening hand. Maybe he's just a bad player and like kept expensive cards. And he's getting away with it because I had a slow start myself. If so, then so be it. Now, I could have used the coin here to make the Yeti, but I'd honestly rather skip the Yeti on turn 4 and use the coin to make a Fen Creeper if I do any coining at all. I might just need a True Silver champion here. True Silver plus Golem will kill anything he could play here, unless, of course, he innervates into something gigantic. Oh, that came against the Rogue. Loot Hoarder is not what I'm expecting to see on turn 4 after he passed for the first 2 turns. Man, this is a very, very slow start for the opponent. He's shapeshifted 3 turns in a row here, and Loot Hoarder's not even that impressive. It's mostly just a card cycle. So I'm going to play the Yeti. Now, this allows him to shapeshift to kill the Golem, but surely on turn 5 he will be playing a Druid of the Claw or something and have better things to do than shapeshift my Golem, which is going to respawn anyway. Yes, he has a Silver Hen Knight. Well, I can take care of that in high style. I have a variety of options for dealing with this thing. And let's think about which one I want. I mean, I can True Silver Champion this, use Pop the Golem to kill that, or I could True Silver this and then Yeti to kill that, or I could use the Yeti and the Golem to kill these 2, and then the Lattice allows me to play another creature, so I can choose basically, do I want the weapon in my hand and more health on my existing creatures, or do I want a creature on the board and then less health on my existing creatures? Let's go for the Fen Creeper. Let's trust my instincts. We take care of this, we take care of that. If he has a swipe, he can finish off the Yeti and the Golem, but the Fen Creeper will live. And then I've got 2 very good cards to play next turn, depending on the situation. The way I did this does kind of leave me open to a swipe. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Luckily, I don't have to pay for that decision just yet. Scarlet Crusader's not a big deal. And it should allow me some time to use this Golem for value. Yeah, so the Wrath is going to kill off the Yeti, give him a card. But the Golem is still around now. I can use that to pop the Divine Shield, kill the Scarlet Crusader, play a Farseer or something. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. So yeah, let's just poppity poppity, poppity poppity. If I could coin and play the Spiteful Smith, I totally would. But I can't, I'm a mana shy of that thing. So we'll just make a recruit and call it a day. I guess I could have left the Fen Creeper more damage than play the Spiteful Smith, but this way I also get the recruit out. Alright, Boulder for Stoker is nice to see. A couple of different ways I can get rid of it, though you might be screaming for me to play a Peacekeeper, but I do have another option. I could also True Silver Champion, and that plus the Farseer will take care of business. But I will use the Peacekeeper here, I mean, especially because I have the Panda. I can get the Peacekeeper back if needed. And now I think is the time to get the Spiteful Smith on board. And I'm going to ignore this Ogre. It's got a lot of health. I don't want to beat it down. We'll get the 7 damage through to his face. And now perhaps I can actually enrage the Spiteful Smith against the Ogre. Pop a True Silver Champion, and I've got 6 damage on my weapon, which is pretty good. I'm actually rather swipe-proof with all these 3 toughness minions. He's got a handful of cards, but I've got a very strong board, so I'm feeling pretty good about life. Alright, this will need to die. Luckily, I've got a couple different ways of killing it. I mean, I could True Silver, I could use the Argent Commander, I could even just use the Spiteful Smith. Alright, I'll upgrade the Ogre a bit to get some damage through my Fen Creeper, but it's no big deal. Now the question is, do I even need to enrage the Spiteful Smith? I mean, this does the job for the most part. Alright, here's what we'll do. I'll kill the Azure Drake that way, enrage my Smith, kill off the Ogre. Trade the Farseer to keep my Fen Creeper out in the field. And he concedes. Alright, great. I was going to maybe Panda the Peacekeeper or just play the Hunter. I was trying to decide which one to do. Luckily, the answer was it doesn't matter. So here we are at 6 and 2. I think more often than not I make it to 7 when I'm at 6 and 2. I'm not actually sure though. I mean, I definitely make it to 7 more often than I get stuck at 6, but that's also including all the times I'm 6-1 and 6-0 when I'm at 6. I don't actually know what my statistics are for making it beyond at 6-2, but either way, it's a pretty good run coming back from a hiatus. And also starting off a really dumb second game. And a really dumb game against the Rogue. Just really, like, those were pretty stupid. Although the Rogue, I think if I had drafted differently, I could have beaten. Panopticona, the Mage, is going to test our ability to make it to 7. It's a tough matchup. Always tough against the Mages, especially because you can't hide your recruits behind a Taunter from their hero ability. Got a very good 4-drop, though, and a 3-2. I mean, these are vanilla cards, but it's a decent start. Obviously, there are very explosive starts a Mage could have involving mana worms and mirror images and so forth, but barring exceptional draws, this, followed by Novice Engineer, followed by Yeti, is a pretty good opener as the first player. I mean, in the Argent Squire on turn 1 would have been nice. I am going to play the Ooze rather than the Novice Engineer because the extra power here is important so that I can trade with her drop. I'm missing a beat on turn 3 with all these 4-drops in my hand. So I need to make sure that my 2-drop gets me there. So the Elven Archer, is she going to use the coin to Fire Blast? She is. So she does go up a card, but she loses a coin for the privilege, and this Elven Archer will die to just anything. So do I play the bigger creature, or do I play this? I'm going to actually play this and waste the Battle Cry, even though it's it may seem a little bit odd wasting this Battle Cry, the healing, which is very important against a Mage. But it allows me to clear up the Elven Archer while still keeping a body on the board. Now my opponent has an ugly choice. She can either kill this with a Frostbolt, but then she does nothing else, or the Elven Archer dies. Now if she has a Harvest Golem or something else, she can mitigate the effects. But this isn't going to quite do it, because the Elven Archer will still die. Okay, so the question is, do you Hammer of Wrath to clear out the board, or do you play the Yeti? Let's go ahead and play the Yeti here. And I'm going to kill the Archer, so yes, the opponent can of course Fire Blast this Farseer, but that is half her mana. She probably has better things to do on turn 4. She could play the Dark Iron Dwarf. That would let the Cleric trade with my Yeti. That would be very annoying. I would then have to bring out the True Silver Champion to kill the Dwarf. And the board would be, again, clear with me having this Farseer. But no, she doesn't have a Dark Iron Dwarf. She will finish that off. And she actually has nothing else to do with her mana. Excellent. Alright, well, always draw cards first. Let's draw a card. Ooh, very nice. So this essentially acts as a heal 3 for the Yeti. Is that worth it? Nah. I think it's more important to put out the Scarlet Crusader, have this bigger presence of the Divine Shield, and the Yeti at 2 health is good enough to survive any Fire Blasts. Cone of Cold would be annoying. It would kill the Engineer, pop the shield. Alright, she's playing this, so I presume she has a way to think she thinks she's going to protect it. Does she have a mirror image? No, that would be very comical. She does, in fact, have a mirror image. Why do I never have my consecration? Ever. Ever, ever. Alright, so a couple of different options here. I could whip out the True Silver Champion and then play the Bloodsail Raider to get my 6-3. The problem is that my board, well, I could use the Crusader and the Yeti to kill off the mirror images, and then the True Silver would kill the Questing Adventurer. And then she'd have the 6-3 to deal with. The Mana Worm is still around, though. Could use Hammer of Wrath on the Mana Worm. Then, unfortunately, I can't actually get at the Questing Adventurer. That's not acceptable. I really need to kill that Adventurer. I could use a True Silver Champion. Kill the Mirror Image with it. Use the Scarlet Crusader to kill another Mirror Image. Argent Protector, my Yeti, and then use that to kill the Questing Adventurer. But the Mana Worm is still alive. Basically, I don't think I can actually clear her board, because this Novice Engineer does not contribute enough damage to allow me to get a board clear. That's very irritating. Well, what I'll do then is neither of those things. I'm actually going to make a recruit. So my thinking here is, let's leave me with this nice big board. I can hopefully get a board clear on this turn, and then before I use up the True Silver Champion, I pop the Bloodsail Raider for 6-3, and then actually it would have a chance of living. Of course, the issue is she can have a Flame Strike next turn to clear everything off, but I'll probably end up losing a lot of these creatures anyway, trading with whatever she plays this turn. Alright, she decides to ping off the Divine Shield. That's unfortunate. Does she really have an Arcane Explosion? She actually has an Arcane Explosion. Are you goddamn kidding me, Jesus? And she has an Ooze! Are you goddamn kidding me, Jesus? Oh, that was a terrible turn. Arcane Explosion and an Ooze. Oh, motherfucker. Alright, so we're going to take desperate measures here. Hammer of Wrath, Mana Worm, draw a card. Protector, kill off Ooze, force her to have to spend 2 mana killing this Yeti. So then she has, after the Yeti dies, 4 cards to my 5. And 2 of my cards are very weak. I only have 1 True Sliver, so this is now just a vanilla 2-3. Should have played it last turn, I guess. And then I have a Fen Creeper, and that's about all I have that's any good. Well, I got the Panda for the Argent Protector combo thing going on. Oh god. She doesn't have any spells, but she's gambling I'm not going to be able to kill it, and it's a pretty good gamble because I can't do anything about that shit. So we're going to play this. And do I Peacekeep it? Is it worth Peacekeeping? I don't think it actually is. I hate this. Oh, I hate so much. It's this deck. It doesn't have much removal, which is a problem in situations where the opponent just drops a gadget to an Auctioneer and hopes it lives. Well, now I'm hoping she doesn't have any spells, but I doubt she would have risked it if she didn't have spells. So she's a secret, which is made infinitely better by the fact that it also draws a card. Oh my god, I cannot overstate how bad it is when the mage is allowed to start the turn with an Auctioneer. She also killed my Fen Creeper, which is a bitch. Alright, so is it worth it to Peacekeep now? Or just use the Panda Argent combo thing? Well, I have to keep in mind that this might be Mirror Entity. Okay, so let's check for Mirror Entity then with a Geomancer. It is not that. Let's Peacekeep this. Kill it. Let's check for Vaporize, etc. It's not that either. Okay, so we have a wacky one on our hands here. We have a wacky secret. It's either Counterspell, Spellbender, or Ice Block. Well, the joke might be on her because I don't really have that many spells yet, other than Consecration. But if I do top that Consecration, the joke's on me, because if that gets countered, that's obviously very, 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 very bad. I would say the opponent is ahead after that frickin' Ooze Arcane Explosion turn. So insane. And she's gonna get another card. Does she think she's pinning her own Acolyte? Yes, indeed. She knows I have the Peacekeeper in my hand, so she might have been disinclined to play anything big. Wolf Rider's no big deal because she's already used her ping, so that Wolf Rider cannot get the kill on the Panda. She'll just kill my Geomancer, which is smart. It's generally good not to let people keep spell damage. She'll keep the Argent Protector in case I have more Pandas. She's playing very intelligently here, and she plays the Young Priestess, which buffs up the Acolyte. Okay, so unfortunately here I don't have many options. I need to kill the Acolyte, or else that's going to be insane card advantage. I'm going to leave this Young Priestess alive. We'll just kill the Dwarf. And I'm saving the Peacekeeper for other times. I am stretching out a little bit against Flame Strike, but I have to because I'm behind at this point, so I need to just play my stuff out. Hopefully she just doesn't have a Flame Strike. She had an Arcane Explosion of all goddamn things. Maybe if she just doesn't have a Flame Strike, I'll be in decent shape. She has a Flame Strike. Well, I don't know. This is a tough situation. So she's going to get to kill this off as well, and now she's got a secret in 3 cards. 4 cards if you count the Priestess to my nothing. So it looks like, after 2 dumb games, I am going to get stuck at 6. I don't see myself being very likely to come back, especially with that top deck. Not exactly the top deck of the century there, the Argent Squire. So I've got the Peacekeeper in my hand. My opponent knows that that is the card that I am holding. And she should probably just play big stuff anyway if she has it, because just because of card advantage. This is a pretty good drop to play. It's not a super tempting Peacekeeper target, but it is big enough that I pretty much need to play my Peacekeeper now. And it gets buffed by the Young Priestess. Hey, Sea Giant! Alright, well, now I need her to not have... Let me just make sure this is correct. Yes, make a Recruit. That drops the cost to 5. As long as she doesn't have a Polymorph, I might have a chance in hell with that 8/8. I realize it's kind of a stretch when you're praying for a mage to not have a Polymorph. Fireball plus the Divine Shield plus a ping will also kill this. But who knows, she does only have 4 cards. Maybe for once in my life I can catch a break. Maybe for once in my life. Oh, she's going to silence off the Divine Shield, restoring it to 4 power. Very clever. And that plus the other one will allow her to get the kill on my Sea Giant. Well, that's not Polymorph or Fireball, so that's just well played. And now my whole board trades with hers. Okay, we're going to find out if this is a counterspell now. It is. Well, Noble Sacrifice is the ideal foil for counterspell as far as these things go. We kill this. We kill this. Her hero ability kills this. So we're in a top deck war, but I'm only at 14 health and she has a 3-card advantage and the play. So I'd say that my odds of winning are quite small. I don't really have anything big in this deck. I've got like a Spiteful Smith and maybe one more Fen Creeper. And that's it. That's all I've got to work with. Fairy Dragon is not the most impressive thing, admittedly. So she seems to have a Fairy Dragon in 2 cards. Although it's kind of bizarre that she didn't have a direct answer for my Sea Giant and is now holding on to 2 cards. If one of these were a Polymorph, you would think she would have used that. So I'm not exactly sure what this stuff is. That she had, 8 mana and nothing to play. Frost Elemental. Oh, that was a really strong top deck. Protects her Fairy Dragon, puts a 5/5 on the board. Gets me down to almost killing range. She's pinging this as if she's going to Flame Strike next turn. I mean, that could be what the card was that she didn't want to play. Really, instead of pinging a Recruit to ping a Yeti almost certainly implies another Flame Strike. And I'm also going to be down to 3 health, so I'm just dead in like 3 turns to pings. Assuming I can even clear out her creatures, which is very unlikely. She did have another Flame Strike. So, what are you going to do? You're going to lose. That's what you're going to do. Sadness. Ah, man. But even this game actually was probably like the most fair of the games I lost. I think the game against the Warlock was the worst, and then the Rogue was the second worst, and this was the least bad. So, it's fine. We'll take our 6-win run, and we shall call it a day. So thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and or subscribe. Let's now proceed to look at our prize and a sneak peek at the next arena. No pack openings anymore, because it doesn't matter anymore, because I have a full collection. What do we get? We got a good one, 140 gold, just about making back my entry fee. And the next arena will be Druid, Hunter, or Shaman. Alright folks, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon.